Here's the point. God judges the people outside the church. We, leadership, judge the people inside the church. We are to discern, we are to notice what people outside the church are doing, whether it is good or bad, but they have not signed up for this. They might not even know the rules. So, God will judge them for that decision. The purpose of those judging those inside the church is to reconcile, is to reconcile, is to reconcile. I cannot say that enough. It's not to cut people down. It's not to kick. The goal is, that's the last thing you want to do is kick them out. You want them to be reconciled. You want love. If possible. And if we're not, yes, then we are to eliminate them. They're called wolves. They intend to do us harm. Now, someone might say, but haven't you read Matthew 7, verse 1? Don't judge, so that you won't be judged. This is how people read that. Matthew 7. That is how people read Matthew 7. What it actually says, if we're doing what we're supposed to, and we keep reading, you're catching that theme this morning? Matthew 7:15, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing. This is Jesus talking. But inwardly are ravaging wolves. You'll recognize them by their fruit. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? In the same way, every good tree produces good fruit, but a bad tree produces bad fruit. A good tree can't produce good fruit. Every tree, that doesn't produce good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Scary. So you'll recognize them by their fruit. We see here that we are supposed to judge. Prophets, teachers would fall into that category. And yes, the standards are higher for teachers. James 3:1, not many should become teachers, my brothers, knowing that we will receive a stricter judgment. And also, for us as Christians in general, we are to be that example that we talked about last week. Paul confirms it here again in this week's text. Don't you judge those who are inside the church? It's rhetorical. Yes, you do. We've signed up for this. We know the rules. So we are judged by those standards. James 4:17. So it is a sin for the person who knows to do what is good and doesn't do it. We also talked about that greasy grace preaching last week. A lot of false teachings in that category. A very popular one is that we, as Christians, are never going to be judged. Ever hear that? 2 Corinthians 5:10, for we must all appear before the tribunal of Christ, so that each may be repaid for what he has done in the body, whether good or worthless. A tribunal is a judgment seat. So what that means, Paul is writing and he says, who? We, me too, must all appear before it. Now, to clarify, before you get scared, we who are saved will not experience the wrath of hell, the final judgment. But we will have to appear before Jesus and give an account of what we've done. Good, crowns of righteousness, or worthless, maybe a timeout.